On July 28, 1976, the industrial city of Tangshan in northeastern China was struck by one of the deadliest earthquakes in recorded history. The Tangshan earthquake claimed hundreds of thousands of lives, devastated the region, and left an indelible mark on the nation's consciousness. This narrative explores the catastrophic event, its aftermath, and the enduring lessons in disaster preparedness and resilience.
Tangshan, a bustling city in Hebei province, was a hub of heavy industry, particularly coal mining and steel production. With a population of around 1 million people, the city was rapidly developing, and its infrastructure was expanding. However, Tangshan was located in a seismically active region, and despite its industrial growth, the city's preparedness for a major earthquake was minimal. In the years leading up to 1976, China experienced political and social upheaval, including the Cultural Revolution. This period of intense political activity and ideological campaigns had diverted attention and resources from issues such as disaster preparedness and infrastructure safety.
In the early hours of July 28, 1976, at 3:42 a.m., a powerful earthquake measuring 7.5 on the Richter scale struck Tangshan. The quake lasted for approximately 15 seconds, but caused immense destruction. The tremor was so intense that it was felt as far away as Beijing, 140 kilometers to the west. The city's buildings, many of which were poorly constructed or not designed to withstand such forces, collapsed almost instantly. Entire neighborhoods were reduced to rubble, and essential infrastructure, including roads, bridges, and communication lines, was destroyed. The immediate chaos and destruction created a nightmarish scenario for the city's inhabitants.
The immediate aftermath of the earthquake was one of confusion, terror, and desperation. With communication lines down and infrastructure in ruins, coordinating rescue efforts was an enormous challenge. Survivors scrambled to free loved ones from the wreckage and tend to the injured with limited resources. The initial government response was slow, partly due to the extent of the damage and the breakdown of communication channels. Despite the chaos, local and national efforts to rescue and support survivors began to mobilize. The Chinese military, along with volunteers and medical personnel, were dispatched to Tangshan. Makeshift hospitals were set up to treat the injured, and temporary shelters were established to house the displaced. However, the scale of the disaster overwhelmed these efforts. International aid offers poured in, but China's political climate at the time, characterized by isolationism, led to a reluctance to accept foreign assistance initially. As the true scale of the disaster became evident, the government eventually accepted limited international aid.
The Tangshan earthquake had a catastrophic toll, with official estimates stating that 242,769 people lost their lives, although some estimates suggest the number could be higher. Additionally, hundreds of thousands were injured, and millions were left homeless. The economic impact was staggering, with vast amounts of the city's infrastructure and industrial capacity destroyed. The disaster prompted a re-evaluation of disaster preparedness and response strategies in China. The government recognized the need for improved building standards, better urban planning, and more effective emergency response mechanisms. Investments were made in earthquake research and monitoring, leading to the establishment of a more comprehensive seismic network to provide early warnings and data. In the years following the earthquake, Tangshan was rebuilt, emerging as a symbol of resilience and recovery. The reconstruction efforts were monumental, transforming the city into a modern industrial hub once again. Memorials and museums were established to honor the victims and educate future generations about the importance of disaster preparedness.
The story of the Tangshan earthquake is a tragic reminder of the devastating power of natural disasters and the critical importance of preparedness and resilience. The loss of life and widespread destruction highlighted the vulnerabilities in urban planning and emergency response. As we reflect on this dark chapter in history, we are reminded of the enduring human spirit and the continuous need to improve our readiness for such events. The lessons learned from Tangshan have shaped disaster management practices, not only in China but around the world, ensuring that the sacrifices made by those who perished were not in vain.